everybody, what's going on? It's Caden Cleveland here with the Oklahoma Senate, and you're joining us for another episode of OK Senate on Deck. This week, we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing an audio episode, trying out some different audio techniques, different things to give this podcast just a little bit different look. So, Senator, welcome, and thanks for joining us and doing something a little bit different this week.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it out.
Absolutely.
Told I have a face for radio, so let's try this out.
Okay, so just to kind of dive right in, this episode, I was hoping we could just do a quick recap on what all happened this week in the Oklahoma Senate, and then kind of get your thoughts on some different things. We had the abolitionist group up here this week. We had a constitutional carry bill passed through the House that's on its way over to the Senate. So I guess just starting.
Oh, we have marijuana as well.
Also, marijuana meeting met, and they passed some language that's on its way that will be either in the House or the Senate, correct? So
probably they're starting in the House.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, before we get there, let's start off with just kind of a broad overview of the week. Do you feel like everything was productive week? I still feel very optimistic about the session. You kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Situation normal, at least for the 57th legislature. We're still very optimistic, still having tremendous conversations and headway in negotiations with the House and Governor on some of our key legislation. Had a tremendous amount of Oklahomans here this week visiting with us on everything from abortion to vaccine choice, to guns, and medical issues, medical licensure issues, nurse anesthetists. There were a lot of things happening at the Capitol, but I remain as optimistic in week 2 as I was pre-session and in week 1. In fact, I'm more optimistic. I've been sitting down with Governor Stitt and Speaker McCall, and I will tell you that I think we have a very open and honest dialogue. And I think that Oklahomans are not wrong to expect big things out of this legislature. I think we can deliver big things this session. Awesome.
Okay. Well, getting into one of the hot topic of this week, one of the bills that was very much highlighted was SB 13, authored by Senator Silk, and there was a lot of people up here at the Capitol advocating for it. And what are your thoughts on that? What was the overall big picture? You kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, first off, excited to have people from all over Oklahoma to the Capitol to share their opinion. We had some people from outside of Oklahoma as well on that issue here this week. But it was a respectful dialogue with the people that I talked to in the hallways and in my office. But, I got involved in politics for the very reason to save unborn life. And I have some concerns about Senate Bill 13. Does it reach that end goal? I know that the people who were up here who took time off their busy schedule to advocate for unborn children did so with the hopes that this would save lives.
Right.
I'm not sure if it achieves that end goal, and still looking at it, yet to be convinced that it's the right strategy. However, I remain absolutely committed, and I think the Senate as a whole, especially the Senate Republican caucus, is very committed to protecting unborn life.
Gotcha. And you've seen that through the past few years of so much legislation that's been passed throughout several years, and you've been a huge proponent and been an author of several bills that have been pro-life initiatives and saving lives for babies and the unborn. So
yeah, we've seen a decrease in abortion in Oklahoma over the last 10 years, and we've also seen a more stark decrease among teenage women who get pregnant, teenage girls. But you always, as someone who's pro-life and values the dignity of life, you're not done until no more abortion happens. I share that goal with the abolitionists. I don't think what they currently have before us is the best path forward, but we'll see what the rest of the Senate believes.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So changing subjects, changing gears just real quick. Medical marijuana had their meeting this week. Are you confident in the language that they put forward?
Yeah, it's maybe one of the reasons I'm most optimistic about this session.
Great.
So over the interim, Speaker McCall and myself appointed a bipartisan, bicameral committee, ad hoc committee, really, to say, hey, look at State Question 788, the state question that voters passed in the primary to legalize medical marijuana, and make sure that we fix any holes that are there, but don't undo the will of the people.
Right.
And this committee has done that task brilliantly. Senator McCourtney, who I put in charge of it on the Senate side, and Representative Eccles, who the Speaker put in charge on the House side, worked well together. We've had Republicans and Democrats on that committee, as I said, and it was a unanimous vote coming out of there. So,
Right.
but it didn't happen overnight. It was a few months in progress, and they were committed to it, both the Republicans and Democrats. And of course, it's not law yet. So the work they did, they made the recommendation. Now it will go into a committee substitute,
Right.
and it will go through the normal process. But we hope to get it done quickly because there's a lot of public health and public safety issues at stake, workplace
Right.
safety. And I think the work product they created, although there's still going to be work to be done, is a huge start in making sure the will of the people is instituted.
Awesome. Well, we're running a little short on time here, so not to cut you off. Do you have any last words that you'd like to share with everybody? Kind of a recap of the week.
No, I'm excited. I mean, I'm privileged to have the honor to be the pro tem of the Senate.
Right.
And my colleagues have been doing a ton of work these first 2 weeks.
Right.
Diligent. They're still up here late in the evenings, late in the afternoon, meeting with constituents, doing work, having committee work. The flow of work is Senator David's doing a really good job. Senator Thompson's doing an excellent job as well on the appropriations. So I'm sure we'll hit snags at points along the line, but right now everything's going extremely well, and I remain very optimistic.
Awesome. Senator, thank you so much for joining us this week. And guys, you can join us every week. You can, if you have questions or want to find out more info about all this information that Senator Tree talks about here on the podcast, you can visit our webpage at protem.oksenate.gov, or you can shoot us a question directly that we'll talk about here on the podcast at our email address that's ondeck@oksenate.gov. And
we hope you like the new format.
Absolutely.
So hopefully it will work, and you'll still see a lot of videos come out of the Senate. But in order to turn these around quicker and be able to get a wider audience, we're going to try this out.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your work on it, Caden.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Senator. And guys, I guess we'll see you next week, and talk to you soon. Bye.